Okay, everybody, what we're going to be doing today is some examples using the production possibilities frontier. I'm going to work out these examples with you, and of course you can listen to or view as much of this as you want. The first question says the production possibilities frontier is a graph that shows the various combinations of output that an economy can possibly produce given the available factors of production and. So when you're looking at a production possibilities frontier, you're looking at what you have available as far as resources go, and that's your factors of production. But you also have a given time. So let's say you're looking at a period of 1 year. So that would be what you could do in a 1-year period. And you also have to do your given technology. So whatever you have right now for technology is all you can use. You can't add additional technology in the given amount of time, because remember, the production possibilities frontier is a snapshot. So it's just showing you what is possible right now with what you have right now. The second one says that suppose a nation is currently producing at a point inside its production possibilities frontier. So remember, if you have your frontier, that frontier shows you what is possible. So if you're on it, that is your efficient production. So that's where you want to be. Oops, left out an I there. All right. And then so if you're inside, if you are at this point right here, you actually could move to any point on this frontier, and you can produce more of everything without giving anything up. So the point inside the frontier, which is what this is asking you for, is inefficient, because you could be doing better without increasing your resources or anything else like that. Number 3 is asking you about the shape. So if you look at your production possibilities frontier, the bowed outward shape, when it curves like this instead of being a straight line, that's caused by the fact that as you go down this production possibilities frontier, as you get further and further down, you must give up more and more of whatever is on this axis. So this is called increasing opportunity cost. Meaning, again, that you must give up more and more of the good that you have on the y-axis to get more of the x. All right. So your next one here, number 4, says refer to figure 2-4, and it says efficient production is represented by which points? And remember, efficient is on the curve. So for this, you have 2 points on your curve. That is point R and point U. Right. So to be efficient, you can go anywhere on the curve, but there's only 2 points actually labeled on this one, so those are your efficient points. All right. Question 5 says refer to figure 2-5, the opportunity cost of this economy moving from point A to point B. So we're going like this. And remember, opportunity cost is what you give up. So what we need to look at is at point A, we had 60 dryers, and at point B, we had 40 dryers. So we had 60, we now have 40, we gave up 20 dryers. And it is important that you say that it is 20 dryers, because if you're looking at this example, you actually gained washers, you didn't lose them. So the opportunity cost is actually giving up 20 dryers and not 20 washers. And that's going to be one common wrong answer, is to put washers instead of dryers. All right, number 6. Oops, number 6 has the answer marked. We're just going to go with that. But number 6 says, which of the following events would explain the shift of the production possibilities from A to B? Now remember, if you're on the curve, you are efficient, but if you are outside of the curve, that is what happens when you have growth. So in order to shift outside the curve, you have to be able to produce more of something. And in order to have growth, you have to have an increase in technology or an increase in resources. Now, with this example, we are shifting on this end, but we are not changing on this end. So all we're getting more of is the books. Okay, so what we need to know is that we are just increasing books. So A says the economy's citizens developed an enhanced taste for books. Taste deals with demand. And we're not looking at demand because we're looking at what's being produced. So this can't be right. B says the economy experienced a technological advance. Okay, so that's good. We want that. And it's focusing on books. Okay, so that's a possibility. C says more capital became available, so that's an increase in resources, but this says the economy, so it's talking about the entire economy. If that happened, you would also see the shift here on the DVDs, which you do not see. So C is not right. D works exactly the same way as C. It talks about labor, so that's resources, but again, it says the entire economy, so that's not right. We're only seeing the increase in books. All right, number 7. 7 is where we start getting a little bit more complicated in our answers and what we have to do. So it says, assume that Jamaica and Norway can switch between producing coolers and producing radios at a constant rate. The following table shows the number of coolers or the number of radios each country can produce in one day. We want to know Jamaica's opportunity cost of one cooler. So Jamaica can produce 12 coolers or 6 radios. So we're going to set this up as an equation. And we want to see what it's going to cost for one cooler. So we want to get a 1 here in front of our coolers. So we're going to divide by 12. These 12s go away. 1 cooler is going to equal half of a radio. So the opportunity cost of 1 cooler for Jamaica is half of a radio. And be aware that could be written as a 0.5 as well. It would still be correct. All right, so now we have the same table that we're using for this example. So this one says Jamaica has an absolute advantage in the production of, and remember, absolute advantage is just who produces more. So you're just looking at numbers. You don't care about the cost. You're just looking at the numbers. So let's go back up to our table. Jamaica, if you look at coolers, cannot produce more of them. Norway actually produces more. So Norway has the absolute advantage in coolers, but Jamaica can produce more radios. So their absolute advantage is in radios. All right, now number 9 is asking about what you should specialize in, and specializing is based on comparative advantage. And remember, comparative advantage is based on opportunity cost. And you want the lower cost. Sorry about that sound. Something went off in the background. So if we look here, we already know that Jamaica, it costs 1 cooler. 1 cooler costs half a radio. So let's write that here. Jamaica, 1 cooler, half a radio. But if you look up here, let's figure out Norway. Norway is a 24 cooler to 3 radio. So Norway, 24 radio to, 24 cooler to 3 radio. So if you divide this out, oops, you don't need that C there. All right, so this comes out to 1 cooler is 1/8 of a radio. So Norway, 1 cooler is 1/8 of a radio. And if you think about your fractions, 1/8 is a smaller portion of a whole than 1/2. So Norway produces coolers. So when you're doing specialization, then you need to understand that one country will do one thing and the other one will do the other thing. So because Norway gets coolers, Jamaica gets radios. And number 10 says Olivia bakes cakes and Andrew grows corn. Olivia and Andrew both like to eat cake and eat corn. In which of the following cases is it impossible? So we want to know when it cannot happen that they can benefit from trade. Remember trade, you look at comparative advantage. Okay. So A says Olivia cannot grow corn and Andrew cannot bake cakes. But that doesn't matter because as long as they can grow one of the two, they might still be able to benefit from trade. B says Olivia is better than Andrew at baking cakes and Andrew is better than Olivia at growing corn. So this better than actually means absolute advantage. All right, so let's look at the next one. Olivia is better than Andrew at baking cakes and at growing corn. Okay, so this one's saying Olivia is better at both things. But again, that's absolute advantage. So it doesn't matter. Absolute advantage, you can be better at everything. What we're looking at is comparative advantage. D says both Olivia and Andrew can benefit from trade in all of the above cases. So we said that Olivia cannot grow corn and Andrew cannot bake cakes, but they could still trade as long as they grow the thing that they're good at. Olivia, so that is a possible trade. Olivia is better than Andrew at cakes and corn, and Andrew's better at corn. That's absolute. We don't know on the comparative here. So we don't know if they can trade or not. So they could benefit from that one. Excuse me. C says Olivia is better at both. Again, that's absolute. We don't know comparative. So again, that is possible. So they actually both could benefit in all of the cases depending on what's happening with their absolute advantage. So that's the key. We have to figure out the comparative advantage. I'm sorry. We have to figure out the comparative advantage there to figure out if they actually can trade. All right, so there you go. That is your worked out examples here. Again, if you have any questions at all, or if you are confused, because opportunity costs and comparative and absolute advantage is one of the most confusing topics, please do not hesitate to post in the question forum or to send me an email or something like that if you need help. And I am here for you if you need it. Again, I hope this video helps, and I hope these examples will help you when you work on your assignment, which is very similar to this. And of course, refer back to this as much as you need to. Have a great day.